Welcome to Radicalize Me. If you like what we do here, please give us a like, comment, subscribe, and if you can, subscribe on Patreon. You know, that's always a good thing. You can even give a one-time donation at Buy Me a Coffee. I'll throw you that link as well. But let's get into it. Today, I'm doing something a little different, kind of off the cuff. Yeah. I'm not so scripted today. Had some stuff to talk about, you know. So let me just say, I I have big problem with Dave Chappelle's views on trans people. I think he's a big dumb guy, and really didn't understand what the fuck he was talking about when he did these bits about trans people. So this is not a defense of Dave Chappelle by any stretch. It's certainly not a defense of Kanye West or Ye. I just found Dave Chappelle's recent stand-up or SNL monologue very interesting, because he kind of sounded like the old Dave at a lot of parts, you know. And I don't want to romanticize too much like what he was like when he was younger, but yeah, it was better. His material was better. He was really sharp, and was a really good kind of social commentator. And I feel like he lost that along the way. These older comedians, and I wonder if going away for a while helps or hurts, but it certainly didn't help with Dave, because it comes back and time has passed him by, right? It's going like, I don't understand all this trans shit and the alphabet people or whatever. Like, it's not good. The Kanye thing, not good. So the problem with this, from a Marxist perspective, is all this shit, all this bigotry and finger pointing and scapegoating is dividing the working class. Don't single out groups. Don't single people out, and don't fight millionaires' battles for them. All right. So let's watch Dave Chappelle on SNL and see what we can glean from his set. Here we go.
Before I start tonight, I just wanted to read a brief statement that I prepared. I denounce antisemitism in all its forms. And I stand with my friends in the Jewish community. And that, Kanye, is how you buy yourself some time.
This was a really good start, I thought. It's a great tension-breaking way to start this. And when you're a stand-up comedian, you're society's comic relief, if you will.
Early in my career, I learned that there are two words in the English language that you should never say together in sequence. And those words are the and Jews. I've never heard someone do good after they said that.
That one was okay as a joke. It's getting at something. It's not the most polished joke, but I also don't think there was really anything wrong there.
Kanye's gotten into some scrapes before. Normally when he's in trouble, I pull up immediately. But this time I was like, you know what? Let me see what's gonna happen first. I just want to see where this is all going. Vaguely, I remember it started with a tweet, strange tweet. It was like, I'm feeling a little sleepy. I'm gonna give me some rest, but when I wake up, I'm gonna go DEFCON 3 on the Jews. And then he just went to bed. I was up all night worried. What is he going to do to the Jews?
This is all solid. I mean, like, this feels like the old Dave a little bit. He's, you know, he's making light of the situation. He's making fun of the guy, even though they're friends. And I don't expect him to like denounce Kanye and like stop talking to him. I don't think he will, and whatever. But yeah, he's willing to go after him a little bit at least, and this is actually funny.
I grew up around Jewish people. I have a lot of Jewish friends. So I'm not freaked out by your culture. I know a little bit about it just from hanging around. I'd be like, yo, let's go out after school tomorrow. They'd be like, we can't go out. It's Shanana tomorrow. I'd be like, where?
I'm not gonna lie, that really got me the first time I watched this. Uh, I I had some Jewish friends growing up for sure. My parents had a lot because they grew up in New York City, and they were very much. My mom's family is partially Jewish, but both of them just grew up around the culture a lot, and they they'll throw like Yiddish words around and have like a bit of the I don't know, like Seinfeldian, like Larry Davidian sort of attitude about life. Um, and this was just very funny for that reason. Because I mean, this where Dave grew up in New York City, I think, and that's where the Jewish American culture really is for the large part. But I fucking Shauna Na just really got me.
What is Shanana? I had so many questions. Why do some of your people dress like Run DMC? Kanye woke up from that nap, he went right to work. A year ago, I'd seen him on a podcast called Drink Champs. Great show. And it was an amazing appearance. Noriega and them were there, the rappers that I love, and they all had their gold chains and stuff on. And Kanye said, only millionaires wear chains. They said, what? He said, I'm a billionaire. Billionaires don't wear their money on their body. I tucked my chain and I said, oh, snap.
This is actually funny. I've heard this premise before, honestly, but he did do it well. And yeah, I think there was another comedian I knew who had a bit kind of like this, that you as you go up in income, you get better and better dressed, but at a certain point, you just go back to wearing like hoodies and jeans. Um, and that's pretty much what he's saying. Kanye said here.
It was a good appearance. It was fun and funny. But when he woke up, he went on Drink Champs again. This time, he was on one. He was mad about something. He said, I can say anti-Semitic things, and Adidas can't drop me. Now what? Adidas dropped that nigga immediately. Ironically, Adidas was founded by Nazis. And they were offended. I guess the student surpassed the teacher.
This part was okay. Yeah, and I didn't have a problem with this part either. But yeah, it's Dave Chappelle's style has gotten a lot more conversational. But he is at least, again, he's being funny here, which wasn't always the case in like the multiple specials he's put out in the past few years. But yeah, this is sort of like, this is one of those things. I think a lot of people already knew what had happened with Kanye. So Dave's not like giving us new information, or really like breaking new ground with what he's saying about it. But he's just really good on stage, and it's funny to hear him talk about it, I guess.
He had broken the show business rules. This is a rule. You know, the rules of perception. If they're black, then it's a gang. If they're Italian, it's a mob. But if they're Jewish, it's a coincidence, and you should never speak about it. Kanye got in so much trouble, KYRIE got in trouble.
So, okay. So the this part is the first spot where can I can understand where people started to think this was a little bit of a problem. Um, Not the Kyrie thing. We'll get to that in a minute, but the Italian, it's a mob. The fucking whatever the other one he said. But then if they're Jewish, it's a coincidence. Yeah, black, it's a gang. Italian, it's a mob. Jewish, it's a coincidence. You should never bring it up. Yeah, it's so this part I saw people on Twitter and stuff saying, oh, this is kind of normalizing some of this anti-Semitic stuff that Kanye was saying, and obviously nothing that Kanye has said recently was new, right? This has all been going around for a while, and Dave is like normalizing it by phrasing it this way, because he's sort of he's he's he, he's doing the comedy dance around it, right? He's pointing out like, oh, you're not supposed to say what is the Jews, and it's like, well, yeah, because it's different. This is different. I don't think this is a good uh, uh, analogy overall. Um, it's yeah, I don't know. It's too complicated to like make this joke about it, I guess, because there's historical reasons as to why uh, you know, Jewish people make up a lot of the entertainment industry uh, and Hollywood. Like there's reasons for that actually go back to Jewish kind of segregation and discrimination in the early 20th century in the U.S. Um, but yeah, so I guess that's the thing, is if you leave that out, then it just seems like you're saying, uh, yeah, like that this is some kind of conspiracy among Jews to like run the media or whatever. Um, and I don't know. I mean, Italian mobs and black gangs are real things. They exist, but they're also stereotypes um, that we associate with those groups in particular when they're not they're not unique to those groups. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. I got the sense he's just playing around here, but I can grant that, like, yeah, here this was a little bit sloppy, and may contribute. I can see at least why people would say this contributes to the kind of hate speech portion of this.
Kyrie Irving posted a link to a movie that he had seen on Amazon. No caption on the post or nothing like that. But apparently this movie had some, I don't know, anti-Semitic tropes or something.
Okay, now this part, uh, I I had a bit of an issue with this part because he is defending Kyrie Irving here, which is a little fucked up. Like, uh, so I do have a little bit of a problem with him, like, uh, the defense of it in general, but also just as like, um, bad comedy. Like when he, when he says, he posted a link, no caption or anything, like that reminded me of like the worst of his new material. Like when he was talking about trans people, in the now infamous, the special from Netflix, um, he just he wasn't really telling jokes for most of it. It was really just a bunch of statements about his personal feelings, and that's not good comedy. Like obviously you talk about, the way you feel about things in comedy, but he just comes across butthurt about like, trans people, blah, 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 and they like, they went after J.K. Rowling and blah, I don't like it, blah. And then he makes like two jokes. He's like, yeah, I call them alphabet people, right, with all the letters. Like it's just stupid. It's just bad. So that's what I thought here. I was like, well, he didn't put a caption in it. He didn't say anything about it. Like I don't care. I don't care. Uh, it's not a good defense, and it's not interesting. Like, get to the thing.
And it was some weird title like From Hebrew to Negro or something. And the NBA told me he should apologize, and he was slow to apologize. And then the list of demands to get back in their good graces got longer and longer, and this is where, I draw.
So this I don't like either, because this is Dave like playing the fucking victim, right? Like the list of demands got longer and longer. Like, okay, I don't know what he's referring to there, but given the way he reacted to getting called out for transphobia, uh, I don't believe the list of demands was longer and longer, and that it was so unreasonable. I don't believe that. I don't care. Like, I'm not going to look it up, but like when Dave was called out, he was like, uh, well, I shouldn't have to, it's a joke, like, uh, there's no, that's it. Always comes down to that with these, canceled people. They're like, there's no way to, please these woke people, this woke mob. There's no way to please. And it's like, well, you didn't try. Like, you didn't say, yeah, sorry, I should probably learn a little more about this topic before I continue speaking on it, or yeah, I didn't mean anything, bad by it. I was trying to joke around, like whatever. You didn't even say that. So don't act like, oh, well, like there's nothing I can even do to please these people. Like, it's usually pretty simple. Um, but yeah, I mean, and as it goes for Kyrie Irving, posting a link to this book, right? It's one thing to be Dave Chappelle, like talking about trans, issues in your stand up, and you haven't really learned much about it, but you're a person in the world, and like, shit has come at you a little bit. Um, and there's a difference between that and Kyrie Irving going on the internet, finding the fucking link to the, he he say he wrote a Negro book, like that. He found the link and he posted the link. He knows what the book's about. I imagine he's read it, you know? Um, like that shit is garbage. So, if you refuse to say, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have posted that book, then what are we supposed to think besides you just agree with what's in it? Okay.
The line. I know the Jewish people have been through terrible things all over the world, but you can't blame that on black Americans.
right? So this part, again, it's like, well, dude, we're not blaming we're not blaming all the like bad things that have happened to Jews on Black Americans. What is happening is the humans named Kanye West or Ye West now and Kyrie Irving are being called out for saying or linking to anti-Semitic tropes and conspiracy theories, right? And people have even, I think, been a little timid to call this what it is, which is Black nationalism. There's the Black Israelite movement. Some of it's even like the Nation of Islam is kind of connected to this, which is a specific group. It's not about Islam really. It's not about there being a problem with Islam, is what I mean. God damn. This is a tricky one. But yeah, it's not. But yeah, people have been timid to even bring that up. That like, yeah, these are conspiracy theories and hate speech that's connected to specific American Black hate groups, right? And it is. That's not to say, it's Black Americans' fault that Jews have suffered. It's not, right? Just the same way that pointing out white supremacy, pointing out the racist history of the U.S. and the systemic racism, at the very least, remnants in our laws and our structures. That's not hating on white people. It's not. It's just, it's describing the complex like interplay of history and power structures, many of which have been race based. And this is something, to be fair, Dave gets into in a minute. It's understandable that if you are a Black American who grew up facing white supremacy, that you would seek out some answer as to why is this happening, right? So one of those answers is Black Israelites or Black nationalist movements that are connected with it. So yeah, it's not about saying, oh, this is Black Americans' fault, right? It's the same way that like AIPAC and Israel are not the Jewish people, right? That's not the whole of Jewish people and Jewish society. It's not. And this is a big problem that those two groups, AIPAC and groups. AIPAC is a lobbying group. Israel as a nation state, they constantly conflate the two, right? If you have any criticism of either of those institutions that are political and governmental institutions that are open to criticism about their actions, that makes you an anti-Semite. That's insane, right? There's a nuance to these things, but this I just don't like this sort of you call out a behavior, a particular harmful behavior, and that makes you hate like the group that person is from. Like it's not good. It's not heading to a good place.
You just can't. You know what I mean? Thanks for the one person that said who.
And see, he doesn't get laughs on this actual tract. Like he's flailing, like, because he's getting too like in the muck about it. That's what makes it like shit comedy.
Kyrie Irving's black ass was nowhere near the Holocaust. In fact, he's not even certain it existed.
See, that's a good joke. All right. Okay. See, and yeah, like he doesn't always know how to like phrase these things, I guess. But yeah, that like, don't blame Black Americans for the suffering of Jewish people. I don't know. I think it would have been a better joke if he just said like, you know, hey, Kyrie posted this link. Maybe shouldn't have done that. But his ass was nowhere near the Holocaust. In fact, he wasn't even sure if it happened. Right? Like, that is a little more punchy and a little less like hey, come on, like, stop going after my guys. Like, that's not cool. Like, shut the fuck up, man. Like, they're big boys. Let them take responsibility for what they fucking said, okay?
I saw one news pundit screaming about Kanye. She said, mental health is no excuse for that type of language. Yes, it is, bitch.
So I actually liked that one too. It didn't get a great response, to be fair, but like, that was good too. What did he say? There's no, yeah. So mental illness is no excuse for that type of language. Yes, it is, bitch. Like that's Dave. And he does have like a bit of misogynist tendencies as well. So I'd be remiss if I did not mention that. But yeah, I like this joke because it's I think totally fair that people have called out that no, like, plenty of people have mental illnesses of all kinds and don't do this. And they don't do and say the things Kanye is doing and saying, right? Yeah, that's fair. And it's not about an excuse like, well, don't get on his case about open anti-Semitism. It's he's got a mental illness. Like, no. And it's not like he has Tourette's or something and literally can't control what comes out of his mouth. But yeah, like, there's certainly an element to certain mental illnesses, and I think Kanye has manic type stuff, at the risk of armchair prescribing or diagnosing. Like, yeah, he gets manic episodes, it seems like. He seems kind of bipolar, like, he doesn't have very good self-control. So yeah, I mean, I think some of this does come with that. It's not an excuse. It's also not out of the realm, So I mostly agree with the take, and I do like that joke.
Somebody, if you're mentally ill. Listen, okay, I don't think Kanye is crazy at all. I think he's possibly not well. Well, I've been to Hollywood. I don't want y'all to get mad at me. I'm just telling you. I've been to Hollywood. This was just what I saw. It's a lot of Jews. Like, a lot. But that doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? There's a lot of black people in Ferguson, Missouri. Doesn't mean we run the place.
perfect bit. That is what I'm fucking talking about. That's the old Dave. That is everything in one. Okay, he's acknowledging why the germ of this idea might be in Kanye's head. He's doing that in a way that like walks up to the line, and it's a lot of Jews. Like, that makes you a little bit uncomfortable. You're like, why? Okay, but why are we talking about it? But then he breaks it. He breaks that tension, and he says it doesn't mean anything. And then the black people in Ferguson. I mean, that it's like he takes another dark thing from recent memory, breaks the tension around that as well. Doesn't even run the place. I mean, that's like it's satirical. Like it's social commentary. It's a bit. It's a bit. That's the thing. Is like, someone called me out for this, and this might be true that I was, we're any bit of water in the desert is going to feel like, incredible. So I might be giving Dave a little too much credit for like finally coming out with a set that has a few fucking jokes in it. Instead of, just screeds about trans people. So yeah, it's possible that I'm just like, oh, it's just such a relief to hear him to hear a fucking joke structure come out of his mouth. But I do like that bit. Like, that is exactly, from a different perspective, obviously, but like, that's the type of thing I was always striving for when I did stand up. And that's what I want to hear from comedians, is that exact little stretch that he just did. Fantastic.
I could see if you had some kind of issue, you know what I mean? You might go out to Hollywood and you might start connecting some kind of lines, and you could maybe adopt the delusion that the Jews run show business. It's not a crazy thing to think, but it's a crazy thing to say out loud in a climate like this.
Okay, so I saw Dave called out for this part as well. And sure, like it's like some of it's a little sloppy, and you get these lines like, it's not a crazy thing to think, but it's a crazy thing to say out loud. It's like, okay, is he saying like, yeah, you're right, Kanye, but like, don't say it. But I think again, the charitable interpretation, is, that he just said he just explained what he meant. Okay. So like, okay, let's go back a little bit. Right. If you have some kind of issue, you might go out to Hollywood and start connecting some lines, and maybe you get the idea or get the illusion that Jews run show business. Not a crazy thing to think, crazy thing to say out loud in this climate. All right. I do think that there are bad people, anti-Semites, who took that the wrong way and said like, he does get it. Like, and that's bad. And maybe you should, amend your bit if that's how it's coming across to the wrong people. But I thought it was fairly well done, and a crazy thing to say out loud. Well, yeah, it's a crazy thing to say out loud. Like, I mean, I notice when like I see the names of like the CEOs of fucking NBC and what are companies, Universal, and I don't know. When I see the names of CEOs and stuff in these, like I notice like, oh, Andy Greenblatt and Jeff Goldstein, and it's like, well, yeah, but I don't care. And it's not something I feel the need to say out loud because I know that it doesn't matter. So it's crazy to say out loud. And like Dave Chappelle said, especially in this climate, right? And what is the climate? The rise of fascism and the far right in the US, I think, is what he's saying. So again, that's my interpretation. I I know this is all sensitive. I know. So and look, I'm not black or Jewish, so I get it. It's none of this is like lived experience for me. So I'm very happy to hear what people have to say. You know, hit me up in the comments if you have thoughts on this. I'm not out to like attack anybody on this. All right, that is it for today. That you can watch the whole set on YouTube, but that was pretty much everything he said about Kanye and Kyrie Irving and that whole situation. I hope you got something out of this. I hope I didn't say anything too stupid. I just had all of this rattling around in my head, and I wanted to kind of get it out there. The problem of anti-Semitism and bigotry in general is that these things have been historically used to keep the working class at odds with each other. And that is happening now, and it's going to continue happening until, we start to fucking learn. So, yeah, if you got something out of this, please like, comment, and subscribe. There's Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee where you can support. I've got some more in-depth content on the way, some real Marxist shit, like getting real in the thick of it. It's going to be good. So stick around, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye now.